All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a bit of like a speculation news video here on the channel. We don't do these very often. This week is really the last week of the season before the next expansion to Pokemon Pocket is officially announced and released. It's set to release on January 29th, which means we should be getting an official announcement trailer in just a few days. However, on the Japanese Pokemon Pocket official Twitter account, they've been kind of giving us all these like teaser puzzle bits of information and images that a lot of people have kind of taken to and derived a lot of information from, and this has been going on for like the past week. I've seen a lot of people talk about this and make videos about it, but I figured it's not really the type of content we do on the channel, but there's really not much else to talk about, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that in today's video. This might not be like the most well organized video. It's gonna be just a lot of speculation, a lot of ranting, a lot of discussion. I think it should be fun, and everything about this the stuff that's being teased is very exciting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I would love to hear your guys' opinions down in the comment section below. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you guys think of all of this. But let's just kind of get down to all of the information that has been uncovered, or I guess, guesstimated so far. It's kind of hard to say. Like, one of the reasons why I have a difficult time making content about this types of stuff is because it's hard to know like exactly what's correct, what's confirmed, what's speculated. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you know everything that has been happening and everything that we know, right? So the first thing is this post here. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at Unite Vids on Twitter, on X, because they kind of post all of the most credible updates and information regarding Pokemon Pocket. Anyway, this post here is talking about how the official Japanese and Korean Pokemon YouTube channels, how they now have hidden videos on their playlists of Pokemon Pocket. And this is a very typical thing that has happened like for the past year in Pokemon Pocket. When we know that a trailer is going to be coming up, basically people check to see the playlists on these official accounts that they've been updated, because it does say here that they've been updated, and that lets us know that they have uploaded a video and they're waiting to like let it go public. And those videos on these channels are typically like the official announcement or teaser trailer videos. So again, it is confirmed. The set release date is probably going to be the 29th, and then of course the trailers typically come out about a week before then. So that is all good confirmed here. I wanted to show you this post because that is the fact. It does say here the set B2 trailer will release this week, and a new hint for the new Mega Evolution will be revealed in less than 24 hours. So we're going to talk about that as well, because this post is from a few days ago. But yes, the playlists have been updated, so we will be getting the trailer soon. Very excited about that. We don't really have like a lot of guaranteed information about what the next set is going to be, themed around, but we do have a lot of information about some cards that are likely going to be coming in the next set, which is kind of what we're talking about in today's video. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about here is just sort of one of the most recent hints, right? So they've been releasing images like this. They're like these puzzles here, and they're in Japanese because the Japanese account is posting them. So of course it's very difficult. I don't know how to translate these, but people online have been translating them for sure. And as we see here, just like a lot of like little bits and stuff, right? So people have analyzed all of these images that have been kind of leaking here. And as we see, this crumb here says Mimikyu in Braille, which is a crazy hint. Like the fact that this image right here, the crumbs from the cookies, have been sort of deciphered to mean something, like, is crazy. And I don't know how much of a stretch this is, and that's what's pretty funny. But as they say here, the crumbs do say Mimikyu in Braille, so maybe Mimikyu is coming. So not only that, but the letter is referring to Diantha, which is Kalos's champion. Now, I'm not actually very well versed in like the Kalos champions like party or anything, but I'm pretty sure that Gardevoir is like Mega Gardevoir is on Diantha's team. I could be wrong about that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Mega Gardevoir is on Diantha's team. You're going to want to keep that in mind moving forward. If we scroll down here, they do let us know like everything that we've gotten from the previous hint. So I'm not going to bring up every single image that this Japanese Pokemon Pocket account has posted. That's just the most recent post. But if we see down here, if we scroll down, this is all of the information that we know so far from the hints. And again, nothing's guaranteed, but this is just what all of those hints have been pointing to. As we see here, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Mawile, those are kind of the two big ones. That's what we're going to talk about mostly in today's video is, what these cards potentially are going to look like. And as you guys know, Gardevoir and Mawile are both Hoenn Pokemon. They are Generation 3 Pokemon, which of course, the two main generations that are most associated with Mega Evolution are Generation 6, which is Kalos, and then Generation 3, which is Hoenn, right? So I think a lot of people have been wanting like a Hoenn themed set with Kyogre, with Groudon, with all of the, Generation 3 Hoenn Mega Pokemon that came out in those Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire games would be really exciting to come to Pokemon Pocket, and we might be getting something themed that way, which is very, very, very interesting. So Mega Gardevoir, Mega Mawile. We have actually some more information about Mega Gardevoir, which we'll get into next. Mimikyu, again, also teased, Diantha teased. This is interesting here coming up, which is Ogerpon. So there was a previous hint and a previous image that I don't have like up right now, but I guess Ogerpon was referenced. So that's something that I want to talk about as well, because Ogerpon is a very interesting mechanic in the official trading card game, and I think it could be an interesting thing to see in Pokemon Pocket as well. But keep in mind, like, Ogerpon is not really associated with Mega Evolution to any degree. It's not associated with Kalos or anything. So it's kind of off of like out in left field a little bit. It might be a bit of a red herring. Who knows? Like, you know, again, we don't really have all of that information. Nothing is guaranteed, so we don't know exactly what's coming, but this is just the information that we have so far. And then it says down here, Team Yell. So in one of the images, there was just sort of like Team Yell's logo, like that actual sort of type of image, like that graphic was sort of like hidden somewhere in one of these images. So I guess the Team Yell, you know, I guess like concept to some degree has been referenced and will be included to some degree, perhaps, in this new expansion. Again, these hints here are really all over the place. I don't want to spend too much time talking about things like Mimikyu and Diantha and Ogerpon and Team Yell, because that's like so many, like the variety there really is a bit confusing. We already have a Team Yell Grunt card, I believe, in Pokemon Pocket. So it's maybe we don't, do we? Or is it Team Rocket Grunt? We might not actually have a Team Yell Grunt card in Pokemon Pocket now that I'm thinking about it. So maybe we will be getting a card like that, because we do have multiple Grunt cards, but I think is it Team Galactic Grunt? And I think we have a Team Rocket Grunt. So maybe Team Yell Grunt is sort of the new card coming, which is typically sort of disruptive cards that, you know, have, you know, kind of interesting effects like supporter cards. So something like that could be coming to Pokemon Pocket. Diantha as well could be a supporter card, right? Because, you know, typically gym leaders and champions and things like that, you know, they do get cards in Pokemon Pocket and they, you know, come to the game. And again, I do think Diantha makes sense. It's not necessarily Generation 3 themed, because that is sort of the Kalos' champion, but I'm pretty sure Diantha uses a Mega Gardevoir. And I could be completely wrong about that because I'm not really an anime person, but comment down below if I'm wrong about that. But Mega Gardevoir here is the one thing that we're going to focus on next. So the big sort of like hint that we've been getting over the last few days is, of course, for this particular card. So they've leaked this image multiple times, which is interesting. So this is sort of the compilation of all of the bits of the card that they've shown so far, which at the top right, we see here, it is a psychic type Pokemon. In the bottom right, we see down here that this is a Mega Evolution EX Pokemon, and we see here 210 HP. So we can make the inference, right, that with 210 HP, this is likely, and I mean that, like likely going to be a stage 2 Pokemon. So we can narrow this down to being sort of a stage 2 psychic type Mega Evolution Pokemon, and there really aren't that many, I guess, examples of that. Like Mega Gardevoir is sort of the, I believe, and maybe it was actually referenced specifically, but everybody seems to be talking about Mega Gardevoir. Again, I haven't deciphered these hints, so I'm just kind of going off of the information that other people have presented. But as we see here, the last hint is here, and this is the information so far that people have assumed to be given about this particular card. So 2 psychic type energies in this attack cost. We have the name of the attack, which is Fantasia Force. Again, the translations to English are going to be very different, right? So this is the, you know, direct translation for this Japanese move name, but we don't know what like it'll actually translate to in English, right? Sometimes like the actual word translations for Pokemon attacks and Pokemon names are oftentimes a little bit strange. So you got to keep that in mind. But yeah, 210 HP, and it says here Mega Gardevoir EX. So maybe somewhere in these clues, it was actually just specifically mentioned or hinted to be Mega Gardevoir EX. So that is kind of the information that I'm rolling with right now. And again, this is sort of the you know, the card image that we have available to us. So we got to talk about this just because I know this is very limited information, and I don't want to like speculate from a metagame perspective what this card is going to be. But from this image right now, it doesn't seem to me that this card here, which again seemingly is Mega Gardevoir EX, has any abilities or any second attacks. We don't know the actual, you know, description of the attack or what the attack does or how much damage the attack does, but it doesn't seem to be, at least to me in this image, that this card has any abilities. There's been no Mega Pokemon in the game so far with an actual ability, so maybe we don't get any of those Mega Pokemon with abilities for quite some time. To me, it doesn't seem like this effect necessarily has a lot of, or this attack doesn't have like an additional effect. But again, we don't know until the official card comes out, and we don't know how much damage this attack does, but it is a 2 energy, double psychic energy attack, which is quite interesting to me because we already have a Pokemon sort of like this in Mega Altaria. So, you know, again, we can't speculate too much, but if I were to speculate here, you know, this could very well be sort of a stage 2 version of Mega Altaria. At least it kind of seems like it would be, right? 20 more HP, still 2 energies in the attack cost. We don't know what this attack will do, but Mega Altaria, for example, kind of just hits for 130, right? As long as we have Pokemon on our bench. So technically, you're not guaranteed to always hit for 130 damage, but Mega Altaria oftentimes is hitting for 130. So that to me, even with that limited bit of information, is really interesting. All right, because what's really the difference, right? Why would we be playing a card like this if this is Mega Gardevoir and it is similar in those respects to Mega Altaria? Why would we ever play this card instead of just playing Mega Altaria? Is that 20 HP difference really that big of a deal? Maybe this attack does more than 130 damage, or maybe it has an additional effect like Confusion because, you know, Gardevoir is a psychic type Pokemon, so maybe we have something like that come to the game. It's actually kind of interesting in the sense that, you know, again, even with this very limited amount of information that we have right now, you got to keep in mind that Gardevoir is a stage 2 Pokemon, right? So you will have to likely play Rare Candy into it, but also we have some Ralts cards in the game that really aren't that bad, right? They have like the Teleport Attack Ralts, and I believe there might be a Find a Friend Ralts or Call for Family Ralts. I could be wrong about that. But the Teleport Ralts is actually kind of a big deal, right? So it's going to solve a little bit of that issue of, you know, sometimes you really just don't want your Mega Pokemon to be in the active spot until it gets set up. So Ralts' Teleport Attack allows it to sort of attach an energy, use an attack, and then retreat to the bench. That could be pretty nice. And then on turn 2, maybe we retreat back in or something. Maybe we kind of move the like a Chingling or a free retreat Pokemon into the active spot. You know, Chingling is seen playing so many different decks, we can kind of assume that it likely, well, you know, we'll maybe want to see play with Mega Gardevoir, but also Indeedee, right? Like, think about Indeedee EX. So, you know, Altaria right now does play Indeedee EX, and it can be pretty annoying. The breakpoint specifically for certain matchups is really strong, especially in that double Indeedee Altaria deck, sometimes with Giant Cape. That's 40 healing every turn. It's actually pretty difficult to 2-hit KO Mega Altaria in some scenarios, but you know, now Mega Gardevoir has 210 HP, and not only could we possibly play this with Indeedee, so technically you could play anything with Indeedee, but because it's a psychic type deck, it's a little bit more easy to justify playing Indeedee in it. That is, you know, upwards of 20 or 40 healing every turn. But again, keep in mind, guys, that this is a stage 2 Pokemon, and we're going to have access to Lily, right? So something with 210 HP, you can throw a Giant Cape on it, give it 230 HP, only 2 energies in the attack cost, which is a big deal, especially, you know, when you take a look at meta-relevant Mega Pokemon in the game, they all have low energy attack costs, right? Blaziken, Altaria, Absol, like none of the high energy attack cost Mega Pokemon have been that relevant, but 2 energies isn't that much. Yeah, so because it's a stage 2 Pokemon though, we have access to Lily, right? So like what kind of scares me a little bit about Mega Gardevoir is if this card is somewhat decent, you know, we can go up to 230 HP with a Giant Cape. We can play Lily, heal for 60 in 1 turn, and use potentially double Indeedee to heal for 100 damage in 1 turn. So 100 total healing, 230 HP. It's going to be actually really difficult to 2-hit KO this Gardevoir. And maybe the attack actually has a healing effect. I believe we've seen that before in Gardevoir cards, where their attack actually just heals them instead of like having an additional, you know, secondary effect to the attack. So, you know, this is interesting. Again, very limited information here, but supposedly from the information that we have, this is confirmed to be Mega Gardevoir. Now, this also brings up some questions, right? Because, you know, why would they be hinting Mega Gardevoir specifically? Mega Gardevoir and Gardevoir in general, one of the most popular Pokemon in the entire, you know, world of Pokemon. So I think, you know, B2 being like a full expansion, it will have, and this isn't really speculation, it will have 2 booster packs. It'll be a double booster pack, you know, official set release, which means that if Gardevoir is in the set, it'll likely be one of those Pokemon on the cover, you know, of one of those packs. And I find that to be interesting, right? So a while back, I kind of gave speculation that, you know, a common set for B2 would be like a Gardevoir and maybe like a Lucario, like Mega Gardevoir and Mega Lucario as sort of the 2 pack art Pokemon, like the 2, like, you know, poster Pokemon for this expansion. 2 very, very popular Pokemon. It's psychic, it's fighting, and very interesting indeed. One of the things, though, that really surprises me is that if like Gardevoir is sort of the flagship Pokemon for this new set, That's really interesting. Like, I find that to be quite strange. I know that it's a popular Pokemon, but like literally the most successful Mega Pokemon in the game is already a Psychic type Pokemon. It's Mega Altaria. And I know Mega Altaria isn't actually weak to Dark. It's weak to Steel because it's technically like a fairy. So Mega Gardevoir would be different in that sense. It would be weak to Dark, which means that, you know, even with all of the healing or other strategies that you might be able to play with Mega Gardevoir, it's still likely going to get 2-hit KO'd by a Hydreigon because of getting hit for weakness. That's, you know, 150 times 2. So, you know, Hydreigon is in the game, could be something that really does counter Mega Gardevoir. Again, this is all speculation here, but I like to sort of think about things maybe ahead of time like that. But yeah, so that's kind of the information that we're getting right now, or that we have in regards to this like leaked card. Like this is sort of the card that they've come out and you know, presented to us more so than anything else. So this is the information. 2 energy attack cost here. It's likely going to be Mega Gardevoir, Psychic type, 210 HP. It is a Mega. So it could be maybe just sort of like a Psychic type Blaziken. You know, like the Mega Pokemon in the game right now so far have actually been very simple cards. They haven't really been anything too crazy or too like out into left field, right? They're all pretty basic. Like they just, you know, they just sort of evolve. They have an extra amount of HP and they deal pretty big damage. Like that's kind of all they really do. Some are more interesting than others. As we saw, like Mega Lopunny and Pinsir like have coin flip based effects. You know, Absol has a really strong attack effect that can discard supporter cards. You know, like Blastoise and Ampharos do bench damage. So, you know, there is some additional stuff that they might add to the game, but honestly, if I just had to guess what this Mega Gardevoir card is going to do, I honestly assume it's going to be very simple. In fact, I would not be surprised if this is basically the exact same thing as Blaziken, but Psychic type. So it'll do like 120 or 130 damage for 2 energy, stage 2, 210 HP, and likely just confuse instead of burn. I would not be surprised at all if that's the card that they release, because Mega Pokemon so far in the game have been very simple, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because there's a lot of variety and a lot of complexity in a lot of the other non-Mega cards that you would add into decks, right? And that's kind of what they're going. That's the direction they're going for Pokemon Pocket, which is pretty fine, right? You know, you can play Indeedee EXs, you can play Giratina, you can play Chinglings. Like there's all of these other cards that have a little bit more intricate effects. And then the Mega Pokemon are just sort of these big like beat stick Pokemon that you use to sort of deal damage and take damage, quite frankly. So that's kind of what we know right now about Mega Gardevoir. I am excited about it. Now, again, the next thing that I wanted to bring up here is going to be that Mega Mawile, right? So like specifically, one of the previous hints has kind of like guaranteed or I guess realistically like revealed it's going to be Mega Mawile. And that's the weird thing about this whole sort of sense, is that it's like that, you know, they haven't really shown anything other than this image here, which really does kind of guarantee that this is going to be probably Mega Gardevoir. They haven't really showed us anything. It's all just been like hints and teasers. So I guess we'll get everything probably confirmed when the set announcement trailer releases. What's weird is that none of this information is released on like the English account, so I don't really know what's going on there. It's just a whole strange system, but this has been kind of garnering a lot of buzz on Twitter, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about it, right? You know, again, there's really not much else going on in Pokemon Pocket. We're kind of just waiting, so I figured why not make a video about this stuff? You know what I mean? I know it's not our typical type of content, but it's fun to speculate. So yeah, Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile is a very interesting one to me, not only about the implications of it being also a Hoenn-based Mega Pokemon, potentially leading to this set to be, you know, a Hoenn-themed set, a Generation-themed set. Could be really cool. There's a lot of strong Mega Pokemon in Generation 3. The promo card that we got, you know, this recently for solo battles is Mega Latios, right? Which is also, of course, a Hoenn-themed Pokemon. So maybe they're going that direction. Again, some of the other hints kind of throw me off, like Mimikyu, like Diantha, Ogerpon, Team Yell. Like those are kind of weird things that they don't really line up to me. But Mega Mawile would make a lot of sense. I think it's also a common Pokemon, or a popular Pokemon, and it could be an incredibly interesting card. Just as reference here, this is what Mega Gardevoir is right now as it was released to the official card game. Not something that I would really put too much, you know, like emphasis on, because again, like this is a very different game. The official trading card game and Pokemon Pocket are very different. It has 2 different attack costs here, much more like complicated and intricate. Again, as this image would suggest here, Mega Gardevoir and Pokemon Pocket's likely just going to be very simple, like something like a Mega Blaziken. But anyway, I just wanted to bring this up and showcase this to you guys, because this is, of course, what Mega Gardevoir is in the official trading card game. But yes, Mega Mawile. And, you know, Mawile is a very interesting card. So Mega Mawile in the official trading card game here has 2 different attacks. It's got 80 damage for each prize card you have taken. So kind of a revenge, you know, catch-up mechanic type attack, which is interesting. And then here for 3 energies, we have Huge Bite, which does 260, which is a lot. And it's if your opponent's active Pokemon has already has any damage counters onto it, this attack's base damage is 30, right? So it's almost like sort of like a big one-hit KO type attack, and if your opponent's already has any damage on their Pokemon, it's kind of useless, right? So this is interesting. This is what Mega Mawile is in the official trading card game, but I wanted to bring up a card from Pokemon Pocket, which is this Mawile card here from Genetic Apex. Now, I don't know if there's other Mawile cards, but I do remember this card pretty distinctly because it has an energy discard effect. And that is something that I also maybe wanted to focus on. We don't have any Mega Pokemon in the game right now that discard energies. Think back to things like Beedrill EX, right? That's sort of what I'm kind of thinking about. If Mega Mawile, of course, and it will be, if it does come to Pokemon Pocket, it will be a basic Steel type Mega Pokemon. And, basic Mega Pokemon are very interesting because they have a lot of potential to be quite strong and very flexible in terms of how we play them. Think Mega Absol. So, Mega Mawile could be a very similar type of card to Mega Absol, but Steel type. And instead of discarding a supporter card, maybe it discards an item card or something like that. And that's going to be very interesting. You know what I mean? Like there's big implications here because of the lack of real meta defiance, or I guess the meta definition for like the Steel type in Pokemon Pocket. There just aren't that many cards. And I don't think we've gotten a Mega Steel type. Oh, no, we have Mega Steelix. We do have Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix is not that good. I'll be honest with you. But I think Mega Steelix and Mega Mawile are going to be two very, very different cards. So this is interesting. I would not be surprised if Mega Mawile had an energy type discard effect. Maybe it is with a coin flip. But keep in mind, we do have Will in the game right now, right? So, even if this doesn't deal that much damage, if it doesn't have that much HP, if we can play this with Will and guarantee energy discards, it could be a pretty strong card in the game, and it could actually be really annoying. So, just keep that in mind. I wanted to bring up this Mawile card from Genetic Apex. I think it's like really the only example, but it's what I thought of when I saw that Mega Mawile EX is potentially getting teased in this new set. Next up here, I just have some example images. Like this is the Diantha. This is the Diantha card from back in the day in the official Pokemon trading card game, which was a supporter card. It read here that you can only play this card if one of your fairy Pokemon was knocked out during your last turn. There used to be fairy types in the official trading card game. This would just basically be psychic, right, in today's day. But basically, you can only play this card if one of your psychic type or fairy type Pokemon was KO'd last turn, and then you put 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. So, an effect like this, might translate over. Sometimes they do take inspiration from official trading card game cards when they come to Pokemon Pocket. So keep that in mind. It might also be a Pokemon specific trainer card, which we do see from time to time. I don't think we have that yet for any Mega Pokemon, but that could be sort of a wall that they break down. They could say, hey, listen, we're coming out with Mega Gardevoir, but here's a supporter card that directly works in conjunction with this Mega Pokemon. That could be very interesting. It could even be as simple as, hey, like find your Mega Gardevoir and put it into your hand, or hey, your Mega Gardevoir, heals 50 damage or whatever. Like, so there could be a lot of different interactions between this supposed Diantha card, again, which is being teased here to be coming in the new set, and of course Mega Gardevoir. I think that there is certainly some possibilities that they are kind of meant to go together. Not something we've seen yet for Mega Pokemon, but it is a potential down the line. And then lastly here is going to be Ogerpon. So this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. This is kind of far off into left field again, because we're into like very deep speculation territory, but Ogerpon was teased to some degree. Maybe there'll be an EX Pokemon, maybe not. Maybe it's just a random card thrown in the set. We don't know. But Ogerpon is a very, very meta-defining card in the official trading card game. And the reason Ogerpon is relevant is because it has a really unique mechanic, which if we scroll down here, you'll see that there's a lot of different types of Ogerpon cards. That's like the main mechanic with Ogerpon. Based off of the mask that it's wearing, it can actually change its type. And the way that they do that in the official trading card game is with, I think there's like an item card or a trainer card, which allows you to kind of swap one Ogerpon card for a different Ogerpon card. It actually, they are completely different cards, right? We have Heartflame Mask, we've gotten Wellspring Mask, and we have Cornerstone Mask, and then we have Teal Mask up here. So maybe we're gonna get like a mechanic like that, like some type of deck where you're able to kind of change around your Pokemon and kind of be flexible in that way. It could be very interesting. The last time we saw like multiple energy type support type decks you know, like that have, you know, that came to Pokemon Pocket was back in like Eevee Grove and the stuff that they did back then. So maybe we get like another boost to something like that. It could be really interesting. Ogerpon is a very unique mechanic in the official trading card game. It's a very unique Pokemon, and I would love to see how they do that to Pokemon Pocket. It could be a very refreshing thing to come to the game that's very different than what we've seen previously. So again, you know, no guarantees here, just all speculations. This is sort of how Ogerpon operates in the official trading card game. It might not mean anything. Again, we don't have that information. We're just going to have to wait until the set releases, likely in just a few days. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Just some ideas here, everything that's kind of been going on here. Like I said, the speculation right now is going to be Mega Gardevoir. That is sort of the big hint right now, and some of these other stuff that could be interesting. Again, I do feel pretty confidently about Mega Gardevoir and the fact that they would add it to Pokemon Pocket. Mega Mawile, another thing that does make sense alongside Mega Gardevoir. Very interesting, very exciting. Hopefully we get some support to some other, you know, these other types that necessarily don't do very well. You know, I'm thinking like fighting, I'm thinking, you know, like the steel type. There's some types in Pokemon Pocket that really are kind of struggling to some degree. You know what I mean? And I think that the more variety we have in terms of sort of the mega mechanics in Pokemon Pocket is going to be a good thing. So we'll see what happens. Again, guys, a bit of a speculation video, but I wanted to just talk about it. I wanted to bring it up because this is a lot of like interesting stuff, and it's news that's happening in Pokemon Pocket. And there's not much happening right now in general in terms of like the meta and development and whatnot. So that's why I wanted to make this video. But let's wrap it up, guys. Comment down below. Spark the discussion. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. If anything I said in this video just doesn't make sense, or if you thought like if something I said was inaccurate, just let me know, because again, you know, it's hard to kind of know exactly what's going on. It's all speculation. But if you have any information that I missed and that you would like to discuss, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned. When the trailer does come out, we'll give our full meta analysis of the new cards. And like I said, later, or I mentioned it yesterday, but later this week, or this weekend rather, we have our Pocket Mads Invitational Tournament, which is going to be this really big deal where all of like the best players in the game are competing. It's going to be very exciting. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that as well. A lot of things like in the pipeline for Pokemon Pocket coming up. It's just sort of, you know, right now we're kind of just waiting for it all to happen. So, you know, stay tuned, like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get on out of here. And yeah. That's it. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Bye.